everyone, this is Niki Rowland and today I'm making a layout for Bramble Fox using some of the items from the December Fox box. I've also pulled out some other perspectives that I have in my stash as well. So I have the Snowglobe set that's available in the store, and I also have a few snowflakes that I have left from the Snowballs and Snowflakes set. Again, that's also available in the store. So I have I'm also planning to use the trees and the houses from the December Fox box. So I've pulled them all out and I've gone for kind of like a blue and green colour scheme. So I'm basically going to make a layout with a snow globe on it today. So I've already cut a white snow globe from white cardstock, and I've backed the top part with vellum, and I've backed the bottom part with a piece of pattern paper, I am going to stick a few sequins. I had an idea that I would stick a few sequins behind the vellum, actually it looks really cool, but then I end up covering up all of the sequins. I didn't want to make a shaker pocket. I thought I would just stick my sequins in place with glossy accent, so that's what I'm doing right now. I just thought of this idea as I was sticking down my snow globe, so a bit late in the day really, so that's why I had it all propped up with that punch. Okay, so you can see that they show through the vellum, which is quite cool, but then to say I cover most of them up with my photos. I've managed to stick down that part of the snow globe onto the vellum on the back, so therefore I wanted to tuck my photos under there, so I've just had to release that a little bit, and I'm going to get my photos just tucked under that snowy ledge. I'm mounting my photos on a journaling card. This is just a white journaling card with dark green spots all over it, and I've just cut that in half and I'm mounting my photos onto those. They are going to be tucked into my snow globe, so I'm just distressing the edges of my photos there. That background paper is from Hip Kit this month, the November kit, and it's obviously perfect, completely and utterly perfect for a snow globe layout. The snow globe cut file itself is just from the Silhouette store, so it's just quite a basic one actually. It was really easy and good to use. It did come with a snowman and some other things too, but I just wanted the outline shape of the snow globe because my photos are of my family inside an actual snow globe, so that's obviously why I'm doing this today. Okay, so moving on to the snow globe Bramble Foxes. No. Perspectives. I wanted to layer those on top of my snow globe itself, and I decided that they didn't look right not backed, so I was worried that they would the other pieces behind them would show through them. So I was going to mount them onto white, but then actually I decided that I think they would look better mounted on vellum, and actually it's worked really well. It was a bit tricky to do, but I've just drawn around them and cut them out from vellum, and then I'm going to assemble them later, so I'm just trying to work out the placement of everything else on my layout. I also want to overlap my perspectives, which is also a bit tricky in itself because then they're quite thick, so they're on different levels. So I'll come back to that bit later, but this is my plan, and I'm just working out where everything's going to go. So I'm using some of the really cute houses from the December kit and the trees as well. So I was aiming for a blue and green colour scheme, so no red or pink. I had considered red and pink in here as well, but in the end I decided just to go wintry and just go for green and blues. I'm going through some acetate snowflakes there to see if I can add any more snowflakes to my background. I've added in a few snowflakes from the Snowballs and Snowflakes set. I've also cut some snowflakes from vellum using a snowflake punch. So I've added those 2 or 3 or 4 I think actually onto the layer already. I'm just layering up, working out where everything's going to go, making sure I'm happy with how everything is looking. The perspectives themselves are a little challenging because they're quite thick, so they're difficult to overlap. And I like to overlap my embellishments, tuck bits in, and have lots of different dimension and layers. But that doesn't work so well with the perspectives. So because I was using quite a lot of perspectives, the placement of them had to be quite carefully done, so that they looked nice without being overlapped. And so I overlap almost everything, so a little bit tricky for me. But it worked out actually really well, and I'm happy with the number of perspectives I've got on there. I think it's possibly the most perspectives I've ever had on a layout ever. So I wasn't aiming to do it that way. It's just that they all went so perfectly with this colour scheme and these papers. So I'm just sticking everything in place now. So my background of my snow globe is backed in vellum. So therefore I am trying not to use any wet glue, because wet glue warps vellum. So I'm sticking down all of my things on top of the vellum with tape. So slightly controversial that I've taped down a perspective, the snowflake, instead of using glue. So I just wonder how well that will hold, but I say I needed to do it because too much glossy accents or wet glue will make the vellum warp and will really look bad. So I've gone for the tape, so we'll see. But everything else is fine. So the acetate can stick down with tape. The punch snowflakes from vellum, they could be stuck down with tape, no problem. And then the other perspectives I've just stuck down with glossy accents because they're just being stuck onto a background, so that's fine. So coming back here now to my snow globes, my perspective snow globes. I've been putting this off because I wasn't entirely sure how to do it. But I have, again, I didn't want to use the glossy accents to stick my vellum background to my snow globes because I was worried it would warp. So I've used tape. So I've just applied tape from my tape gun directly onto the perspective, the outline snow globe, and then just added my vellum to that, and so far it seems to be holding quite well. I'm quite happy with how it's gone actually, even though I don't normally stick my perspectives down with tape. I really glue them in place well with strong wet glue like glossy accents, but it seems to be going okay. So I'm now just taping those down onto the layout as well, and the other bits, so the base of the snow globes, I've just glued down with normal glossy accents. Yeah, they just needed to, anything that I could stick down with glossy accents I have done, but again this tree is going inside the snow globe, it had to be done with tape because it's going onto the vellum. It probably would have been okay, but definitely vellum has warped for me in the past by using wet glue, so I was just conscious of that and trying to avoid using wet glue whenever I possibly could. So I'm now trying to work out how I'm going to stick down my second snow globe because I wanted it to overlap the first one. So I'm just carefully adding adhesive where I need to, and I've added foam pads where I need to as well, so that counteracts the different levels. So the right side of the snow globe will be sitting on top of the other snow globe, so therefore the left side has nothing to support it. So I've added foam pads under the left side and only just tape on the right side. So yeah, it works okay. I was worried that this wouldn't work too well, but actually the backing of it with the vellum looks really good. Even though you can still see through vellum, obviously it provides enough of a difference. It's not perfect, as in if it was backed in white you wouldn't be able to see anything through the snow globes, but actually with the vellum it provides enough contrast that it looks okay. So I'm happy with that, and vellum behind the snow globes goes well with like snowy sky. So I was happy with the overall look and effect. Okay, so just using one of the presents now at the December Fox, it's a little square present shape and a separate golden bow, and the golden bow is really cute. It's really lovely and shiny. I've also got the gold wedges under the snow globes, bases under the snow globes, but they're a glittery gold, so they're a different look completely. But a little bit of gold shimmer on this layout worked really well. So just adding my titles, so I've gone for wonderful fun. I've gone for pre-made titles rather than making my own, so I'm cheating slightly, but yeah, 2 different fonts there from the sticker sheet that was in the November hip kit. And now just adding a few stickers, bits and pieces from that same sheet, so a star and a heart, another star, and I've also got lots of other bits from this kit that I haven't used yet. So I thought I would see if I could get a few things onto this layout from that kit. It's huge, and I've now got my next kit, so I'm not going to use any more of this for hip kit stuff. So I felt like I needed to use it up for other projects too. But that's great. I love to use a variety of materials, so all good. Okay, so just grabbing some of the trees from the hip kit. They're die cut. It's a whole pack of die cut trees. They're really cute, and I thought I would try and attempt to build up my areas to the right and left of my snow globe that have trees on. So there's perspective trees, obviously. I had to be careful because I was trying to stick to this blue and green colour scheme rather than bring in red or pink. Of course, my perspectives are already stuck down, so I also had to be careful in how I could tuck in my trees. But I managed it really well because the trees were not the glossy accents under the trees was not completely dry, so it was quite easy to tuck things underneath them. I'm raising the tops of all my trees on foam pads so that they have a little bit of dimension. They look like they're standing up instead of completely flat on the page. I've added a number of small trees on either side, so one large-ish tree on either side and some smaller ones as well. And they go really well with the tree perspectives from the December Fox box. I'm just coming in with a couple of little label stickers there as well. I'm just nearly done now, just trying to work out the last little bits that I can put in. So just wanted to fill in my snow globe a bit more with some more shapes and snow things. So I added in a few dots and some hearts and stars, and now I'm coming in with some sequins. So this sequin mix that I've used is by Spiegel Mom Scraps, and from last year or the year before even, I think, and it's got some wood grain sequins in, but they didn't work. So once I'd sprinkled all of those sequins on, I removed the wood grain ones because they offended me slightly. They didn't work with this colour scheme. But this set of sequins is really cute. It's all sparkly silvers and whites, and really, really pretty. So that went really well, very snowy, went very well with my layout today. So I'm just getting all of those stuck down. Now, I have been really brave and used glossy accents on vellum, which I was a bit scared to do, but I didn't know any other way of sticking down sequins, so I just went for it. But I used the tiniest dot under each one, and I just hoped that the vellum was tight enough in the snow globe that wouldn't warp too much with such a small amount applied. And so far it's dry now. So far it seems pretty good. So I'm just distressing the edges of this layout. I feel like this layout needed a border of some description, but I didn't have any room to add a paper border. So I have just distressed the edges slightly to give the edges a little bit of a white texture. And just adding in my journaling now, just writing it along the base of my snow globe there. And I've run out of room to add the dates. I've got to add that somewhere else, so I'm just going to go up there and add it there. Okay, so that is me done. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. It came together really easily and really quickly. I've got so many perspectives on it that it was so easy to make. So do check out the winter products in the Bramble Fox store as well as the Fox boxes, because they are all awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for